Okay, I'm going to do the 3 pamphlet style journals in a single video and see how much time that takes. The trifold travel journal took 10 minutes, so I'm thinking this video will probably be about 15 minutes long total because these are actually pretty simple, and a flip through is very, very straightforward. So I'll start with them. And actually, I'd bound 2 of these a while back and forgot about them. I put them in my box for things to be filmed and forgot about them. So I don't remember everything that I did specifically for this one, but we'll talk it through as we see it. First off, you can see that this one is actually a 3-hole pamphlet stitch in, but it's got the attached tie on it for for a closure. Now this is again file folder, basically hanging file folder, and you can even see the lines on here where I cut it to where you can make the folders fatter if you need to put a lot of documents in them. But this one was basically just cut in half, treated with Mod Podge, and embossed. I did not treat this one to look like leather. I just embossed it as is. So after I embossed it, I went back in with a little bit of paint and touched up where all the petals that were embossed into it are on the cover, and did the same thing on the back. So that is what your cover is. The 3-hole pamphlet stitch and the closure are all plastic ribbon. Then, you know, the kind that you put on gifts and whatnot that you can make curly by running them through with the scissors or whatnot. It is just plastic ribbon braided. This one I think has got the happy birthday ribbon that I didn't want to use as a birthday present, so I braided it together so it would obscure the birthday messages. And then I probably won't do this again, but I actually bound it with the braided ribbon, and it was a little bit too chunky for use as binding. It was better for a tie material. So I did the same thing with the tie. This is braided plastic ribbon. So I believe I only do between 50 and 30 pages in the pamphlet journals. I don't remember how many pages I put in this one. Oh, I also wanted to mention I reinforced the spine with washi tape and stitching. You can't really, I don't know if you can really see that, but they're stitching over the washi tape just to give the spine a little bit more structure and sturdiness. Okay, so all the signatures, or all the pages, there's only one signature in here, are ones that I was trying to use up that were left over from 365 Days of Prayer. I think I'll be using stuff left over from that for a while. So strap in because there'll be more to come. So this one, I think every other page is a pocket page, where I'm also trying to use up a lot of the black paper that I have scads and reams of. So didn't do anything on the inside, but you can see the embossed pattern. Decided not to paint it on the inside. So this is a pocket on either side of black paper, and then one of the rose prints, and I think this is 5mm graph paper there. One 5mm on this side and 7mm on this side, and then another pocket page, and then a printed design, and then 10cm and 5cm graph paper. So that's pretty much what you've got throughout. Pocket, and then 2 printed pages, or 1 printed page and 2 graph paper pages, and then another pocket, and then a printed page, and then 2 graph pages in another pocket, printed page, 2 graph pages, and that kind of continues on through here. And I think I could probably quickly count the number of pocket pages to give you an idea, but I'm not going to do that. So, as I said, it's 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I just tied this off and cut the edges. I thought about going back in and maybe heat sealing this together since it is plastic. Decided not to do that. So it's chunky. I probably won't ever use braided ribbon for a spine anymore, for stitching anymore. But at least now I know what it's like if you try to do that. So that is this particular pamphlet journal. And again, the closure is just a braided ribbon, and that you tie with a bow. And I try to make the ties long enough to tie with a bow, but for a couple of them I've been crocheting and ran out of thread, and I ran out of yarn unexpectedly. So I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with those that are too short to use for a tie. So that is this pamphlet journal number 1, floral floral embossing and paint on the cover. This is something that I'm doing to, and both of these two are sort of the same format. They're wraparound binding, both of them are, and the covers are, again, file folders treated to look like paper, then embossed and painted. And sealed with Mod Podge. The edges were hidden with washi tape, and the ties, these ties, this one is leather thread that I got from Daiso. I didn't do anything special to make this. It's literally exactly how it was when I took it out of the package. I didn't braid it or anything. So wrapped around with with a light brown thread, or the light brown leather thread, and did the tie with the light green or bluish green or teal or turquoise. I'm not sure what you call that color, but it matches the tape, I think, kind of with this one. And this one, of course, the crocheted crocheted 5 strands of yarn, and use that as a tie. And for the wraparound binding for this one, I actually did not crochet or tie the yarn. I just left the yarn as strings, then wrapped it around and tied it, and that's how the wraparound binding is done. So, okay, let's go through this one first, and then we'll go through the other one and get this one out of the way. Okay, so again, just a leather thread that I got from Daiso, and easy to wrap around. Because it is so thin, it is pretty, thin. I don't want it to break, so I doubled it and then just tied it this way with well, I think this is different from how I did it before, but you can just tie it with a double knot like that. And options abound. And as I said, it's not attached to the spine, so somebody else who wants to do something else I thought about tying it on and decided to leave it to whoever eventually owns it, so I did not tie it down. So you could tie it down if you wanted to make it permanent. You could use the 1 strand instead of the 2 strands. Options abound. So again, this is file folder. I don't even remember what the original color of the file folder is for this one. It might have been blue. Blue is what I have the most of, but it might have also been red, might have been green, might have been yellow. I don't remember. I have so many of them. But it's embossed with A5 Tim Holtz flourishes pattern, I think. And then on the inside and the outside, painted with red and a light green wash, and then painted with yellow on the inside. And this is, I think, not quite the end of it, but basically to make this paint, this isn't like regular paint that you could buy, so I couldn't tell you a color to get. I basically bought a lot of eye makeup or eyeshadow in a whole bunch of different colors with the intent to use them as pigment. So I finally got around to crushing them all up in basically in color families, and mixing them with either PVA glue or Mod Podge, dishwasher Mod Podge. And after mixing them all up and whatnot, I got, I think I had one that was orangish red, one that was rose pink, and one that was, I'm not really sure what to call it. It's a very pale kind of green color. And I had very little of yellow. And I think I only have 2 things with a little bit of the yellow on there, because there was not very much of it at all. Because the predominant color in the whole palette set was orange and red. So that's what I got this one, actually. This is the rose pink, and this is the whatever color green that is. They just happen to be there because I was doing some last night. So again, wraparound binding. I took, this is actually 2 layers. I could not find, or did not have this particular washi tape in a wide band. So I did the wraparound and messed it up a little bit on this one, but it's not a problem. I was able to cut off the excess. I wrapped around the edges with the tatami mat washi tape, which I've mentioned before, that does not stick at all. So, and when I put glue on it, the glue shows through. So I didn't use any glue on this one. I basically used it with the intent of sewing around it and letting it be on the inside cover, and then on the outside cover, covered it with another washi tape. Just did 2 rows of another washi tape. So there is actually 3 rows of stitching on some parts and 2 rows of stitching on other parts, just because when I looked at, I thought I had it measured right, but the stitching didn't even touch the washi tape on the top on this one. So So I stitched around it an extra time to make sure that the tatami mat washi tape would be held in place. Inside is a mixture of, well, also you have the writing board as per usual, calligraphy practice on one side and lines on the other side. Because of the way this one is cut, the lines is pretty wide ruled, but you can, move it up and down if you want to use the lines, or you can move it up and down if you want to use the lines this way. So you've got options, but the writing board is in here for either lines or is just a hard surface to write on, so you could bear down on something. This one, I think, is all paper. There are no pockets. There are no embellishments, nothing besides just writing paper in here. And I believe it is 100 sheets. I was trying to get 100 sheets in here. I don't know if I actually succeeded because this paper is not as thin as some of the others that I've used where I had that many sheets in it. So it's a mixture of O&A paper, just 3 different types. I think it's all O&A paper, actually. I think it's 3 types of O&A paper. You can see the color differences. You have this that's the darker yellowish tinge, this that's white/off-white, and does not have the sparkly pattern on the outside of the paper, and this that is white and does have the sparkly pattern on the inside of the paper. I'm not sure if this effect is showing up on camera, but basically it's like shiny threads are mixed in with the paper on the one side of the paper. So those 3 types of paper is what makes this one up, and it's wraparound binding, so you can take paper out, add paper in, swap stuff around, put in pockets if you want to do. You can do all kinds of stuff. And I specifically did not use the 3-hole pamphlet stitch binding because these ones, there are 2 layers of file folders here, so to make it sturdy and to make it strong. And stitching through that for the 3-hole pamphlet stitch is tricky. And also using as much paper as I wanted to put in here with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch is equally tricky. So I decided to go with wraparound binding for both of these, and you'll see some of the same features in both of these. So I don't even remember how I did this the first time, well, yeah, I'm just gonna double knot it here. I think I tried to do a bow and it ended up with that one, but since I'm not tying it too tight, I just double knot it so it stays closed but doesn't lock in. It doesn't make the knot unsolvable, so to speak. And finally, this one. So again, 2 layers of file folders glued together, treated to look like leather, and embossed with Tim Holtz Flourishes pattern, and painted to this particular pattern. This is the last of the yellow, some of the green, and I think I have more yellow on the inside. And no, actually, this isn't any of the green. I think this is just I don't remember. It could be the yellow, the green, and the pink, the rose pink, or it could just be the yellow and the rose pink, because this is when I was starting to run out of the yellow, so I was just doing it in patches, intending to augment it or highlight it with a different color. So the tie for this one, again, is the 5 strands of crocheted yarn, cotton yarn, and the binding is just, and I think I did this because I only had so much of this particular color left, and I knew if I braided it, it wouldn't be long enough to do anything with, so I just tied off the ends and decided to use it as a wraparound binding. And it's kind of a neat feature, because if you wanted, you could put something different in each of these different threads instead of just having the whole thing bound into one thread. So again, writing board, lines, it's cut the right way this time. So you've got lines on one side, calligraphy practice on the other side. The inside is the yellow. I think this is yellow over blue. Blue file folder with yellow paint over it, and the inside of the washi tape. The outside washi tape is, I use this to wrap around to seal the edges. It's basically it's this. I don't know if you can see that well, but it's a clear PET tape with like flowers, spring flowers with purples, pinks, and greens in the pattern. And this is just basically purple or pink, depending on your perspective. That's shiny. So I run around the edges, all the edges with the pet tape, and then the edges on the outside with the bright rose pink, and then sewed them all down all the way around. And so again, you have yellow on the inside cover, a writing board. And again, you have what I think is 100 sheets, but maybe 80 or less. I am not certain. Let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 50. Okay, so you have 50 sheets in this, not 100. So it's probably 50 in this other one that I looked at a second ago as well. I deliberately did this one to where you had the brown or the darker yellow page every 5 pages, just to make it easy for me to count. So that is what that is. I did not do the same thing in the other one. If I had, I would have been able to tell you that it's probably 50 pages. This looks about the same thickness. So I'm going to assume that this one is also 50 sheets as well. Okay, so, and again, 3 types of paper. It's all ONA brand, Japanese Mulberry paper. No pockets, no other embellishments. Here is the thread. I tried to tie it as tight as I could, but it's still kind of loose. But if you did desire, you could ostensibly put something separate in each of these threads. And maintain the wraparound binding that way. This one, again, is not attached. I thought about attaching it, decided not to, and just close it with a bow as per usual. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're right at about 16 minutes. So that's rose pink, pale green, and cherry blossoms are the 3 in this video.